We'll call the meeting to order. If you have anything that consent calendar, including added resolution ending in 9324. If that's not confusing enough, let me know and I'll try to make it more confusing. So we're untabling 9312 to include it in the consent calendar. And the added resolution ending in 9324 is also included on the consent calendar.
And in this motion, are we also approving the consent calendar?
Well, this is all in one. That's approving the consent calendar, and as part of that, we're untabling 9312 and including 9324.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make that motion then.
I'll support.
Moved by Curran, supported by Scott. Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Bell.
Yes.
Curran.
Yes.
Freeman.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Majerick.
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Borat.
Yes.
Werfel.
Yes.
Yarborough.
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes. Madam Clerk, if you need any help with that part of the minutes, just let me know. Okay, thank you. Not saying you would, I'm just saying if. Committee, no, go ahead.
Just as a point of order to the group, we have a YouTube stream going live. I was getting a text message that there was no audio. So just again, as a reminder, please use your microphones. We're up and running now. They can hear us, but please just use your mics. Thank you.
Okay, Personnel Committee, you want to lead off, Bob?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the Personnel and Human Services Committee met this morning. We reviewed several of the resolutions that we've already acted upon. We also talked about a representative to the Solid Waste Consortium. We've got 2 seats on that group. Commissioner Scott serves as one, and we're going to be looking for a second commissioner to fill that. And then we also had a presentation about the various health plans and benefits for our employees provided by the Human Resources Department. And then we did talk with our chair and administrator for over several other issues, and that concluded our meeting.
Any questions for PHS? If not, we'll just go around the horn. Jim?
Yes, thank you, Matt. We had our administration committee meeting this morning, and our first guests were Elvin Gonzalez and Kendall Casey from the trial court, family court. And I believe Commissioner Meeks is going to report out on this. If not, Commissioner Wolfel has his back and will fill in any gaps.
Well, first of all, I want to say to these commissioners that over time, from what I've done over my life, my hearing is very bad. And we come in, they had masks on. And one of the things I have to learn is to look at you and to kind of figure out what you say about your lip movement. Well, with the mask on, which I kind of appreciated the masks anyway, but with the mask, it made it very hard for me to really understand what they were saying. But I'm gonna try real hard, Jim. And Jim also threatened me that since I'm vice chair, he's gonna remove me.
You heard that.
If I did before. But I want to say I got a backup, Julie. Okay, so. Okay, and Dave, 3.
Take it away.
Well, he talked about 7 different things, but I'm not gonna speak as long as he did, Jim. But one of the things that came up, he talked, well, I can mention this, maybe the 7, the 6. It's the court order juvenile, the training that they're getting, and then raise the age. There's one of the other things. Michigan is one of the 4 states that hasn't raised the juvenile age 17. And they also don't use of restraints in the court. We can't do that no more, not the juveniles. It says anytime a youth is in court, they cannot be restrained now. Okay, and they talk about a diversion system. So for the, which I kind of like, for the court. County, what is it, Jim? You said something about the what'd you say, compensation thing, but I don't think we agree on that the point. So we basically, we didn't, what was it? We didn't agree on that, but we do. So I'm trying to figure this out. How do we end up with this? I mean, how did we end, Julie? You might help me on this one. We didn't agree with the compensation study, but it's, I guess it was advancement for us or some.
The way I phrased it, Don, was we use it as a guide.
A guide,
and
there you go.
We acknowledged it, but we did not accept it.
Okay, well, I'm glad I got that right, Jim.
There.
Or
See,
you
I
got
got
it
your
right,
back too, Don.
Okay, okay.
But carry on.
Okay, and one other thing you'll find out, there is a staffing shortage. We do, just like everybody else, we have problems getting people to work or to accept the jobs that we have. So that's nothing different than what's going on over the country. Okay, now Julie, did I miss anything?
I just have one thing I will add.
Okay.
And that was on the staff's professional development. 17 members of the staff just went through EPICS training, which is effective practices in community supervision. And our county was honored with all of them passing and being certified the first time through. And that training helps them with helping with the behavioral changes of the youth in the facility. And by the end of this year, we will have 3 certified to train on that within our facility, so they won't even have to send them out.
Okay, thank you. Did we miss anything on that?
I think you got it.
Well, okay, then, well, thank you.
Thank you, commissioners, for that joint effort. I appreciate that. The only thing I would add is that for those of us who were sitting in on the budget hearings, you heard when they started talking about their budget, the raising the age of 17-year-olds used to be treated as adults. Now they're going to be treated as juveniles. So that also is going to add a cost into the juvenile budget. And that takes effect October 21st. So they're prepared, we are prepared. Okay, then we have 2 resolutions that we've already approved. One was time sensitive, it had to be in by October 1st. That's why it was on there. The other one is one that we had talked about previously. That was the x-ray machine at the court. Then we had the chair and the county administrator come in and talk to us about the Berrien County Facilities Master Plan bid proposal that he had talked to finance about. Because I guess we are the parent committee for facilities. That's why we're involved in that process. So we will be seeing things as the finance committee will. And everybody was good with that. And that is our report.
Questions for admin? Hearing none, will the Madam Chair of Finance give us their report?
Thank you. Our first person that came into us was Register of Deeds, Laura Freeling. Last week, we listened to a contractor that she was working with, and we postponed her position to talk about her budget today so that we could have plenty of time to be able to hear and understand. And she let us know that the Register of Deeds was created by the Michigan Constitution. It assists the public in land records and realtors and all kinds of things they're involved in. The revenues are based on fees and funds and different things like that. Because I asked her, did county put money in? Did the state of Michigan or federal? And no, all the money, and their budget right now is about $2.2 million, and they have about $600,000 in expense. So the Register of Deeds is working well. And there is a plat board, and just to tell us some of the expenses, and they have 12 meetings allowed in a year, and they usually don't do 12 meetings, but they're paid a per diem out of the funds that they have. There's, of course, personnel costs, office supplies, and some of the things that they're doing. I've known this for years. They were working to get from those wonderful books. If you ever have a chance, go and look at them, where they were handwritten in ink with ink pens, to save those books and people not going through them, things have been being put online. And so I think it's mostly over the summer. We have a lot of people that work downloading, and she says that they're up to date with that. We have all the records, and it's used by many, agencies and within the county and out. Some of the things they're using, some of the dollars for automation. They work very much with our IS department, with Chris Swihart, and they're getting more electrical, more wiring, just to keep us up to date so that we can, as we're now caught up, continue to be caught up with what we need to do. We asked questions, and it was just a real good report. So they're doing well, and what do you call it, fiscally, FISCAL, fiscally responsible, and it's working well. Our next report, I'd like to ask Commissioner Freeling if she would tell us about the report from Director Dan Fetty.
Certainly, thank you very much. So we had Dan Fetty come in to discuss about resolution F2109316, which was on today's consent agenda that the board just approved, but I think it would be a good time to pause and just kind of address it for those questions that arose. We do this annually. This resolution, not necessarily this particular one, but we passed one in February of 2021 approving the fiscal 2022 budget. And so one of the things that Dan came in to just let us know, this is an adjustment and an amendment to that resolution, because in February of this year, we never really know what we're going to have budget-wise until we get closer to the end of the year. And so because Berrien Bus has gone through a number of changes due to COVID, but also because Buchanan Dial-A-Ride now is housed under Niles and is being operated through Niles. And then also the changes in our staffing because of the change from the TMI contract and Barry and Risa housing those employees. It has subsequently taken our contract and our request for operating costs and reduced it by $200,000. So that resolution was just to amend that to reflect the appropriate request to MDOT. I hope I explained that
Yeah.
well. Okay.
Thank you. And then we had a visit from financial analyst Jake Lideker, and it was about opening a bid for the History Center repairs. It needs a lot of electric work there from those buildings that are out. They're not connected to anything. And so a bid was put out to 4 companies and one responded, and it was Bodewin Electric. And so we voted and passed that, and the work will be done where the sheriff's, that building, those older buildings will light, and they'll have those, what do you call it when where you plug something in?
Oh, the GFIs.
Yeah, the GFIs, it'll be proper. We don't know how strong or what power or what they're working towards, but there will be lights in all the different buildings and possibly outside, or we'll use candle or gas or something. I don't know, something fitting the property, but this is the historic courthouse in in Berrien Springs. So that's being worked on. And Jake also had some waivers for us, and one of them was for it's something how all our committees touch things. For the juvenile center, the gentleman that's going to do that analysis, it came to the finance department too, so that we could waive and request the approvals for the dollars to be there, because that project was met with by judge, lawyers, all the people that it will affect. So that's going to happen. We then met with our Chairman Elliott and Administrator Dissett, and again, that was about Mosier, the gentleman that's going to do the different things. And so that is, we accepted our minutes and paid some bills, and that was our report.
Questions for finance? All right, we'll move into commissioner reports. Terry, do you want to lead off?
The only thing that I would like to report is after today's meeting, I'm going to be down in my district. I am so sorry, Mr. Peltzer. I will certainly do so. The only thing I want to report is after today's meeting, I'll be down in my district hosting a joint coffee hour with Senator Lasada to meet with residents there from 1 to 2 p.m. at the local. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
No report.
No report.
Just one item. I forgot to mention that there's a handout that we provided. This is from the administration committee that was provided by Elvin. That's there. BC Bit this afternoon at 12:30, and tonight, I believe 3 commissioners are attending the signature event for the Berrien County Historical Society. It was going to originally be on the grounds at the courthouse square. Because of the weather, it's been moved to the fairgrounds. They graciously let us use one of the buildings there, so we'll have it inside. That's at 6 o'clock tonight. So we're supporting the Historical Society. That's my report.
Thank you. Please give them my regrets. Tell them if I show up, they'll think it's Halloween tonight, so.
No report. No report.
No report.
And no report. No report, Mamie.
No report.
All right, no report. Administrator.
No report.
General public comments now are in order. Anything under the sun in 2 minutes or less.
Since I couldn't talk in administration committee, it was brought up that you guys are doing a site survey on the Berrien General Hospital. I'm afraid you're going to be in for a rude awakening. There's probably nobody in this room that realizes back about 1850, give or take 2 years, the county board of supervisors at that time told the county board or superintendents of the poor, I think it is, what they call them, to buy that 200-acre property for $1,200. About 10 years later, the facility burned down. All of the bodies that were in that building are buried on the grounds out there, which probably nobody even knows. When the hospital was rebuilt, about 5 years later, it turned into eventually Berrien General Hospital. During the early or late 1800s and early 1900s, all of your communicable disease cases, diphtheria and all the stuff that was very communicable, the bodies were taken out of the hospital and immediately buried on the grounds. Before you dig out there, I would suggest you know where the cemetery is at. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I think I'm probably one of maybe 2 people still alive that knows anything about that cemetery out there. I learned it from the funeral directors that have since passed away and this type of thing. So just be careful what you dig into out there. You may regret it.
Thank you. Come on up, Adolph.
Okay, Peltzer, Hager Township. I'd like to say a couple of things about the masks. I just came from the senior center out there. They got a sign on the door says everybody going in there has to wear a mask, even the exercise classes. Now, my complaint is there are 3 things. Okay, now I got glasses, right? Got a hearing aid. If I put those that mask on there, you know, that's 3 things hanging down my ear. Every once in a while, when I take the mask off, my hearing aid flops on the ground. Another thing is when I wear the mask, I got glasses, right? If I exhale, steam goes in there. So I kind of lose sight of this eye right here. So that's another thing that's wrong with those masks. As far as breathing goes, when you exhale, carbon dioxide, right? You don't need that. When you exhale through that mask, all that carbon dioxide doesn't go out into the air. Then you try it, when you inhale, you're going to suck some of that back in. So what you want is oxygen, not carbon dioxide. I was watching the news yesterday in South Bend, they're having some kind of races. And all those people, I just wonder if they're going to enforce it. They're all supposed to wear masks. Now, can you imagine somebody running and they have to put a mask on? They can't get enough oxygen. I think this mask is a stupid idea. Somebody ought to come up with something better than this. I don't like inhaling carbon dioxide. It's already used up. See, I want oxygen. So that's my 2 cents worth, okay? Maybe it's worth a dime now, and I guess somebody said inflation is worth 10 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Please.
Good morning. This will be my second time coming to this meeting. My first time, I'm gonna say you all are great. The way y'all run y'all meetings, different from Benton Harbor City Commission.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Benton Harbor. My name is Darrell Jackson, director of the Benton Harbor Track Club, and my deputy is Ron Singleton. We operate under the Charles Kelly Foundation, nonprofit 501(c)(3). Ron Singleton is the president of the radio station. He's also the president of the foundation. We're going to try to run a special event this time down on the streets, Main Street of Barron County, and it's going to be called the Fastest Male and Female on the Streets of Barron County. It's something that we did years ago in the 60s and 70s up under Sammy Smith, Glenn Yarbrough. It was a success. That was a long time ago. But what I'm here today again is about the Barron County Games. When I was here last week, it sparked a whole lot of things in Benton Harbor. Some of the older people, older than me, and I'm 60, was thrilled that I mentioned this again. This can happen. But I'm trying to seek counsel from you all. How to do it, if I can do it. Can you help me? What must I do? I know I got to be sanctioned in Benton Harbor under the recreation. That's no problem. This is not a I thing, it's a we thing. And it was huge. We talking about kids all over every community and township in Barron County. I contacted Clifton Turner. Ms. Yarbrough, I'm pretty familiar with Clifton Turner. He runs canoeing games in Flintwick, Canada. He's from Benton Harbor. He told me if once you get your grace or you go to your county commissioners and get their approval, their support, when you do Barron County Games, it will be easy to do it with Canada. Ontario is looking for someone to do this again with them. So I'm saying right now, what must I do? Can I stay? And y'all give me some type of guidance and directions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Janet Blazin, St. Joe Township. The masks, of course. A lot of people in this room know that years and years ago, we used to put our babies on their tummies to sleep. And they say, oh, no, you can't do that because it causes SIDS. So now it's on their back. And the health department's got a meeting this morning talking about infant mortality, and that made me look a few things up. And the reason, and they even said that the main theory of why you can't put babies on their tummies is because they exhale into their bedding, then they inhale the CO2 into their lungs. But by God, you can sure put them on the kids, can't you? Now that doesn't make any sense to me at all. In this case, it kills them, but you can wear them the rest of the time. And then what our governor did yesterday, the way I understand it, the way it looks to me is that she got paid $70 million to say that we don't have to have our masks or vaccines. I may be wrong on that, but that's what it sounds like to me, and that sounds like a bribe. I don't know. take it however you want.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
Darren Sheriff, Pipestone Township. Okay, I'm a little confused about this whole mask issue. But that's not too unusual. I'm old and not too intelligent, so confusion is just a normal thing. First of all, the law says school children has to wear a mask. Okay, you people don't make the rules or make the law, and you're a legislative body, not a judicial body. So fortunately, you kind of got out of this whole issue, and you shouldn't have been in it in the first place. But and I wasn't going to get involved in this until I read the paper yesterday, and Richmond Schools is in a lawsuit. My grandkids go to Bridgman School. Okay, so, and I pay taxes for all your kids to go to school. So my theory is we went online with education for a year or better. If you don't want to wear a mask, we provided online education. You can stay home, not wear a mask, but if you're going to come to school, you wear a mask. Otherwise, you get education online at home. Okay, the other thing is we're having a problem finding teachers. We're having a problem finding cafeteria people, bus drivers. Some states have activated their military people to drive the buses.
2 minutes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Let's take and activate the military people to drive the buses. When they get done with the buses, they can work in the cafeteria. They can also teach, because if you don't have enough teachers, all the teachers walk out. Hey, you got a problem. Let the military do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scheer. If there are no other public comments, we'll move on to other business. Does anyone have any other business? If there's no other business, we'll move to announcements and reminders. BC BIT 12:30 today. The Trust Investment Advisory Committee precedes that at 12 noon. And next Thursday, if you come here, you'll be alone because we're not meeting next Thursday. So we'll get back together on the 7th of October, and we stand adjourned until then at 8:35 a.m.